evening. I'm Audrey Wiggins, and welcome to another webisode of Make Something Happen. I'm excited to have in the studio today Ms. Martina Moore. Martina is the owner, the president of Moore Counseling and Mediation Services. And their primary focus is to help and restore families and individuals to a productive lifestyle through counseling and mediation services. Now, Martina, give us a little quick synopsis of what that is all about.
Yeah, we are a counseling center. We provide mental health and substance abuse counseling. We have 5 offices in Northeastern Ohio. And our primary focus is substance abuse. We are a substance abuse treatment center, but then we also do provide mental health services. I specialize in working with couples and families, as well as working with people who are addicted to drugs and or alcohol.
Okay, what other types of clients do you serve? You spoke of like individuals. I know it's a broader scale than that.
Yep. We also provide group counseling. We have group for different things like anger management and domestic violence and grief. And people who have been victimized and things like that. We have different groups. And then we also provide what's called employee assistance professional services. We're EAPs, and we provide services to area businesses where we provide employee assistance services to their employees of the companies.
Okay. This is just in Ohio, or is this a regional practice?
We are a regional practice. We have contracts all over the United States, as a matter of fact.
Okay, awesome.
But our primary services are here in Northeastern and Southern Ohio, but we do have other contracts.
Is your headquarters
Yes.
is here, so that would stand to reason.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now, you and your husband formed the company. Give us a little more background about the two of you, or how this actually came into being.
Yeah. We started the business 12 years ago.
Okay.
Prior to starting the practice, I was the director of Laurelwood Hospital and Counseling Centers for 10 years, where I oversaw their substance abuse and dual diagnosis programs, and I was their regional director.
Okay.
My husband at the time, he was in the automotive business. He was a finance director, and so he was doing finance for different companies such as the Motor Cars Group and so forth.
Okay.
And then we just decided one day, it was really his vision, that we started our own practice. So we
Wow.
started out slowly, and then we grew, and eventually we grew so much that both of us had to leave our jobs.
Well, that's always exciting. We want to grow like that. Absolutely. That's awesome.
So it's grown from there. We started out with just one little small office, and now our largest facility has over 18,000 square feet.
Wow.
And we also have a conference center in that facility, as well as our counseling services as well.
Okay.
So we've really expanded over the years.
Wow. So do you offer services into other businesses that may use your facility?
Yes, we
I'm
do.
thinking as large as that is. Okay.
Yeah, we do. We have other businesses. We have ministries that use it because we have a conference center. So they'll have banquets and workshops and conferences there, as well as some other agencies. During the week, though, we provide continuing education units for counselors, social workers within Northeastern Ohio, professional development trainings and workshops for them to get their continuing education units.
Okay, that's exciting. I know a little bit about that, being a social worker
Oh,
in Cleveland
okay.
State. Not as a social
Alright.
worker, but just working in that that area. Know how important that is to keep your education, your professional development up to speed. Because there's a lot of different subjects. What are some of the workshops that are going on now?
Well, currently, we are taking a focus on what's called motivational interviewing. Motivational interviewing is a person-centered therapy approach, and we teach people how to meet their clients where they are and to motivate them to where they want to be.
Okay.
And that's really the philosophy of our practice, that we work with people to find out what their goals, what their objectives are, and we help to motivate them to get there.
Okay, no cookie cutter, results here.
No,
Yes.
no, not at all.
Okay. All right, we're going to take another quick break. And we'll be right back. Martina Moore. Martina, it's exciting to have you here today. I actually met you a couple of months ago in Cleveland State. You were on the panel of the Women in Leadership. They had a symposium.
Yes.
And you gave a very exciting, background about yourself, how you came into your practice and, your business background. Give us a little bit about your credentials and your history.
Yeah. I am currently what's called a licensed independent chemical dependency counselor. I'm also a licensed professional counselor. I have a master's degree in counseling and human services from John Carroll University. I'm currently completing my PhD from Walden University.
That's awesome.
In counseling, education, and supervision. And then I have a bachelor's of arts from Notre Dame College. In psychology. So I also have trained at the Gestalt Institute of Cleveland, and the Gestalt Institute is it's a psychological approach that focuses on helping people to be holistic and whole. And so I also studied there, and I am adjunct faculty there now, where I provide training to other professionals.
Wow, that's exciting. I think one of the other guests went through their center as well. And outside of that's your education. There's some other things. I know you volunteer in the community. You have all of this, time to do things. And I know you told us, how you and your husband had the vision and said, what, it's time, to start your own business. What is that thought process? I know it just doesn't happen that we wake up one day. It's something that builds.
No, it is something that builds. And what happens is you are already at a point where you're already doing what you've been called to do. So you're already doing it. And it's about realizing that you're already doing what you're supposed to do, but coming to the realization that you have to just step out and just do it. And it's really faith. It's really walking on faith and having that knowing that this is what I'm supposed to do. But also knowing realistically that it's not always going to be easy. That there's going to be challenges, that there's going to be doors that are shut, but there's also going to be doors that are open. And then along the way, you'll find your path. And as long as you keep in mind that you stay in the right track, what has happened over the years is many people have tried to get us off into their vision.
Oh, absolutely.
And so
I understand that.
What we've had to do is keep the vision before us and say, this is the vision that we were given, and this is the path that we need to stay on. And it is my belief, as long as you stay on that vision and that path, you cannot fail because you're doing what you're called to do. So that's really what I've worked hard to do. And there have been times where I've seen things that has great financial benefit, but it's not what I'm called to do. So just staying in line with that and disciplining yourself to be able to say, this is my direction and my path.
You're really smart. So would you say then you and your husband are each other's mentors? Did you have someone outside of yourselves to really help you stay on track? And
we do. We have an advisory board that we're accountable to. And they are a group of people who keep us accountable. I mean, if there's something that they see us getting off into, they're going to rear us back. They know the mission and vision just like we do. And they're saying to us, how does this line up with your mission and vision? And there's been times where I haven't wanted to take stuff to them because I already knew the answer. I cannot lie about that.
But you just hope it, just maybe they'll let me do this project.
And then it's like, well, where does that line up with our mission and vision? And then it also helps me not to get overwhelmed because I've been at a point before where I've been at burnout. And what I believe is we get at burnout because we're not operating how we need to be and how we should be operating. And so what it does is it helps you to keep yourself refreshed and keep yourself in line with where you need to be. But we always need a group of people that we're accountable to.
You're right. You're right. Yes. That's awesome. One thing that is so important. What you just said there. Because a lot of us, especially if we're still working or into other projects, and we're trying to really work our purpose. So we have the purpose, like I said, what we're called to do. And it's kind of that's a rocky road, to get there, and having someone on the left and the right, so to speak, to help us keep us on track. Where you're talking about doing things that are lined up with your mission, and not from the things that may be a financial gain, but even your volunteer activities, the boards and things that you serve on, those would also be on that alignment. You have the same alignment.
And I always make sure that I'm not on too many boards or not doing too many things. I'm very strategic about, because I get people all day, every day that'll call me and ask me, can you help me with this? Would you consider sitting on this board? So I'm very thoughtful about the boards that I sit on. So currently, because I also am a big proponent of social justice, I will only do things that are in line with social justice. And what that means to me is participating in activities that help to build up the population that we serve. And dealing with areas or barriers that stop people from living to their fullest potential. So I'm always looking for things to make sure that it lines up with that. And if it doesn't mean that it's not a meaningful organization. It just means it's not what I'm supposed to do.
Right, exactly, yes. And that goes back to staying on track, keeping the focus, yes, and keeping the goals and missions forever before us. But along with that as well, the types of clients that you serve, and I'm talking now the corporations and the organizations that you serve. I'm not going to ask you to give names, so what types or level of clients.
Well, when it comes to our employee assistance program, we service all from companies with 10,000 employees to companies with 50 employees. We have currently over 40 companies that we are the EAP for, and we cover over 300,000 lives.
Wow.
Which is huge. And that includes employees and their dependents and family members. And so we have a large base there. And then the other large part of our population that we service in our treatment center, because we are an outpatient treatment center for substance abuse, are court-ordered clients. We work very closely with the courts, working with people who've gotten DUIs or people who've been domestic violence offenders or anger management issues or couples or whatever the case. Then we just get people who come in every day through their insurance who want to get couples counseling or get their teenager counseled or they're dealing with aging parents or something. So we have an array of very diverse population of people that we work with.
Okay, thank you. We're going to come back and hear more from Martina Moore on the other side of this.
Impossible is a word that shouldn't even be in the dictionary anymore. I think that Nelson Mandela said it best because he said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." It's all about connecting with our clients and customers. Your clients and customers want to feel valued. They want to feel cared about. They want to feel like they matter. The essence of building these relationships and connecting with your clients and customers to create the world-class experience is simply a matter of listening for their stories and personalizing their experience based upon those stories.
Jeff is the founder and chief question officer of Think Again, a speaking and consulting company that helps people and organizations build relationships that drive results.
Again with Martina Moore of Moore Counseling and Mediation Services. Martina, you were telling us about the types of populations, huge in numbers. You said you're touching, over 300,000, individuals and families through corporations or those of us who may just, come in off the street. And it's so important. I want to speak, to our African American or, minority communities who don't always utilize or take advantage of mental types of services. And because of the stigma that's always, been attached to that. And I can, confess that I've even felt like that before, but then, I'm going to utilize these services. And when I went, the first time, I can't wait to get back, next week, to talk to this provider. And then it really helps, to get things on track. And it's not, will you go ahead and speak, to that?
That's okay. You are absolutely right. As an African American community, we are not the first ones to stand in line and say, I need counseling. And we don't support it with one another. Now, the numbers are changing. There are more African Americans now seeking counseling, but it's not nearly where we need to be.
Okay.
And I think there are a couple of barriers to that. It's the stigma.
Okay.
It's also the lack of knowledge, people realizing how to access the services. But you can do something as easily as call 211. 211 is like the 911.
Right.
And you can call 211 and say, I need a counselor, I need to speak with someone. Even if you don't have insurance, there are indigent services that are available for people to get counseling.
Okay.
There's also indigent services for people to get medications if they need medications, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes I come from an approach that's more of a person-centered, a brief therapy approach.
Okay.
I'm not what's considered a psychotherapist. I don't spend a whole lot of time sitting down on a couch going through 20 sessions with you. That's just not me. I'm one that I really work. I'm very solution-focused, very brief focused. And, at the most, we may do 5 to 7 sessions at the most to get you where you need to be.
Okay.
But it is my belief that if people really embrace counseling and they do it over a series of time, like you go in and you check in maybe once a year, and you go in and you do 6 to 7 sessions, that's really what the average person needs. Someone who does not have any major diagnoses with need for counseling. We're talking about a person that may be dealing with some grief, or even some mild depression, or someone dealing with some anxiety or family issues, or whatever the case. And we will be surprised how it will help us to reach our goals that we want to reach in life. It's just a matter of going in and actually trying it. Like you said you did. You went in and you saw the benefits of it.
Absolutely.
And I bet you weren't there for 20 sessions. And you saw the benefits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was the 5 sessions.
Right. And that's really, really the model that we're going to. And especially with managed care now, because most insurance companies won't let you see someone for 20 sessions. You've got a few sessions to wrap it up and get there.
Yes.
But it also helps the client to identify what their goals are, what their plans are, and let's get in line. You talked about individualizing the therapy. And that's really what we do. When a person comes in to see me, the first thing I ask them is, what do you want out of this?
Okay.
Because they know themselves better than I do. If you're going to a therapist who's telling you what to do, it's the wrong therapist.
Okay.
Because you already know what you're going to do and what you're not going to do.
That's right.
And you know what your goals are. So the goal of the therapist is to come alongside you and motivate you to get you to where you want to be.
Okay.
That should be the goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we're going to get some more healthy folks in all these communities.
Well, I hope
so. Is there any particular time of year where you see where the business picks up or decline? What are the types of peaks and valleys?
Yeah, we really pick up right after the holidays because people have New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
Couples come in because they want to get their marriage back on track, and you get people who've partied a little too much over the holidays and they have consequences as a result of that.
Okay.
Or you have people who've just delayed it and they said, now this is time. So that's a peak season for us.
Okay.
Another peak season is when school time, when the kids go back to school. Because the parents usually see something with the kids, or the teachers will identify something that's going on with the kids when they first return to school.
Okay.
So that's another peak time for us as well. Most of our lows are around the holiday seasons because people, they don't want to come get help around the holiday. Everybody's happy around the holidays.
Yes. Or we think we are.
Or we think we are. Until you spend the holiday with your family and then you realize you're really not happy. And then you really need counseling. So that's when they come in to see.
We start drumming up the past.
Oh, they start. Yes.
I was trying to forget that. Why are you?
The Monday after Thanksgiving, you get the calls. I think we need family counseling. So those are some of the times that we really see a peak in it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. But I imagine the beginning of the summer, there probably drops off.
There's a lull in the summer. People go on family vacations. People are feeling good because the sun is good. And believe it or not, in Cleveland, we have a high incident of seasonal affective disorders. Sad.
Wow.
And it's because of our winters, because we have such long winters. And so we have such the lack of sun for so long, and it's dreary. So we get a lot of people that are depressed and just feeling low just because of our lack of sunshine.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if we can think about that sometimes and concentrate, or not concentrate, but to just be aware.
Yes.
Okay, I'm okay. It's dark outside. Right. Just wait for 3 months.
Right.
Whatever. Perhaps it's something like that, and then just to check in.
Right.
Like you say with with your service, something on that order.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna be right back after this. Martina Moore of Moore Counseling and Mediation Services Incorporated. Martina, we have been having a great conversation today. We're about near wrap-up time. I want to thank you again for coming by and spending time and sharing with us and educating us on counseling services and knowing when and to plug in and get help, and don't be afraid or ashamed to do that. Now, in your career going forward, what is the vision for Moore Counseling?
One of my visions for More Counseling is to really increase the professional development trainings that we offer.
Okay.
One of the things that I specialize in is educating counselors and social workers.
Okay.
And so I really want to increase that focus area. Being that if we can really produce counselors and social workers who are really aware of different therapeutic techniques to use and different approaches to use with the population to help the population, then we can really improve the care that we provide to the clients. Currently, we provide an educational series for people who are interested in becoming counselors.
Okay.
In the state of Ohio, there is one way that you can become a counselor without having a master's degree.
Oh,
and,
wow.
it's becoming what's called a certified chemical dependency counselor assistant. It's called a CDCA, a chemical dependency counselor assistant.
All right.
And that person has to take 40 hours of training, and along with that 40 hours of training, there is an internship piece that they do.
Okay.
And it prepares them as an entry level in the field, like an apprentice under someone, and it helps someone to get in the field and start to provide services under supervision, but also learn how to provide the services.
Right.
And there's a big need for people. As you know, substance abuse affects 1 in 4 Americans.
Yes, it's
And
huge.
It is huge. And every single American can think of someone that they know that's affected by the disease of addiction.
Yes.
And with that in mind, we need people. Our treatment centers now have long waiting lists. Sometimes we have lists just to get the clients in for assessments or for treatment, and it's because we need more access to the services. And along with that, we need more professionals that are licensed in the field and educated.
Okay.
Now, the CDCA is a way to start, and I tell people to start that way but continue their education. I also teach at Tri-C, which also has a track along those lines that continues that person to also get their associate's degree, and Cleveland State has the piece for them to get their bachelor's degree and their master's degree so they can continue out. But it's a good way for people to start at an entry level in the field with not much money at all.
Okay.
And really be able to get some one-on-one training and education.
Okay. And you said they can get that training for you?
They can. We offer it.
Okay.
Our training schedule is on our website at www.moorecounseling. That's MOORE COUNSELING.com. And they are able to get the information about our upcoming trainings and workshops.
Great. Awesome. Okay. As we wrap up then, Martina, what advice would you give, you can say in any particular order, those who, we talked a little bit about those who want to get into the service or the practice area, and those of us, from a client side.
Yeah.
So,
From a client side, I would start with just telling people that, if you need help, don't hesitate to go get it. Don't let what people say stop you. Don't let yourself stop you.
Right.
And I tell everybody, it doesn't mean you're crazy because you go to a counselor. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean you're crazy. Actually, it means that you're working to be healthy and to be a whole healthy person.
Yes.
And the goal of therapy is to help people to become holistic.
Yes.
All of us have something that we need to work on, whether if it's physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, financially, whatever the goal is. And it's good to sit down with another person, because if I'm the only person I'm listening to, then there's a problem, because I'm not getting different viewpoints and I'm not expanding the knowledge and information that I can get. So it's important that I check in with the person. Even as a counselor, I have a counselor.
That's right.
And it's important for me to also keep myself healthy and to keep myself in balance.
Yes.
Because all of us can get off track. And for those people that are looking to go in the field, I would say to them to really check out your options.
Okay.
Check out your motives of why you're going into counseling. I get a lot of people that say, well, I'm going into counseling because everybody comes to me for advice. That's not a reason to become a counselor. It's not. Some people get into counseling because they're unhealthy, because they have their own issues, so they're trying to help themselves. So I suggest to
Wow.
anyone before they get into into counseling
Mhm.
that they go to therapy themselves and make sure that they're healthy
Okay.
and that they're doing this with the right motives. You know,
Yes.
you get a lot of people that say, "Well, I've been abused," and you can give back without being a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you have to be a counselor.
That's right.
I just tell people to make sure that this is the field for you, because if not, if you're hurting, you can really hurt other people.
Okay. That's awesome advice.
Mhm.
That's awesome advice. Okay, I want to thank you again. This
Thank
is the
you.
end of our show. Thanks for coming by, and hope to see you soon again. And God wishes with you in your practice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye bye.
And you go out and you make something positive happen in your neighborhood today.